right in front of me, and I really want to make it on time. We have a lot of panels. We have 63 speakers throughout the day. And the first edition, thank you so much, Aishwarya ji, for joining us. Let me begin by asking you straight away. We earlier heard some data points that there are only globally less than 20% of women. That was revealing in a way. But being the women leader that you are and heading one of the largest media rooms, do you see the India has a different story to offer, or has it begun to offer a different story when it comes to women and media?
I think the perception has obviously changed over a period of time and more because I sit down for interviews. I see a lot of young girls and young women coming in. They want to be in media and they want to be an anchor, a reporter. And I see that passion and the desire to achieve. So the system is clearly changing, but it is tough. It is tough for a large number of women to enter into a space which has largely been dominated for a longest period of time by men. And still there's way too many men in media than there are women. So it is tough for them. They have to take into account many of the considerations that women have to. There's a biological clock. Then there is a career clock. There is an expectation clock. So there are a lot of clocks all ticking for women in this field, like any other field. And I come from academia because I'm a professor. Been teaching for 8 years, so I've looked at this system from the outside, and now I've, all thanks to Karthik, I've been in the inside for some time. So it is certainly a difficult space for women. But I just don't see that women are daunted by it, or they are in any way stopped by that fact or difficulties. I think more and more women are embracing the difficulties, are very much in the know-how of it, and are still coming into the space. I think as a society also we need to kind of be much more accepting. I think a lot of women on this platform has spoken about the kind of trolling and other things that happen. I think that needs to change a little bit. You don't need to be so hard on someone just because you don't agree with their views. In any house, in a family, you don't agree with your parents, you don't agree with your siblings. So it's very difficult to have the same viewpoint. But women are pulled down if your viewpoint are not agreeing with the people, and almost like dragged down onto whether it would be looks, whether it would be the viewpoint or a perspective. You give it any way, and most of the time they'll not be pulled down for their opinions but something else. Either you're not looking good, or your opinion is so biased or something like that. You won't hear something like that being said about men. So most of the time, the criticism and other things happens to be about something else, because you're upset about something else, but you can't criticize that. So you will start criticizing them on other factors.
TV newsroom, if you see from the outside, looks like it's women dominated, But when you put a lens closer to it, do you think it's much better than the print and the digital space? If we divide the three, which one has more of better situation for women in that gender kind of discussion?
I think I've seen print, digital and TV all closely. I think print and digital still have a lot of scope for women and to express their views and expand on their creative skills and other things. TV does have certain limitations from time to time. Of course, there's a plethora of women coming on TV, but digital, it's the number it goes higher, and the number of women wanting to get into the digital space is also higher. Print also, because like for our products, the Sunday Guardian, the Daily Guardian, we have a lot of women reporters, and they do really great reportage. And our journalist is also Joyita Basu, who's our editor, is also a woman, and she's been with us for like, I think 15, 16 odd years, and I don't think so that there could be a better editor than Joyita for the paper, because she does such a fabulous job. She's passionate about it. Her life is the paper. So I think the women bring that kind of a passion to the scene, and I think that's why media houses are realizing that women give it all. Like they give it all in a family, so they give it all in a business, they give it all in the media space also, and that is the reason for their success. They are ready to fight, they're ready to be out there. They don't care how difficult is the terrain. They don't care how difficult it will be for them to do a reportage, but they are there.
Uh, do you have you started or implemented any new policies that kind of have a gender equal newsroom? You know, the balance is there. Have you started since you've been helming this? Are there any such policies in place that you have particularly kind of implemented?
And not as a policy per se, but then when you are interviewing people and when you are kind of meeting people, the first criteria is obviously the talent and that. And now with increasing number of young women coming with experience in journalism, it's becoming easier to increase the number of women, because most of them are really passionate about it. You don't need to kind of push them to have a drive for it. They've consciously adopted it as a career, so they're already driven. The number of women is more. Their technical know-how is much more. They are ready to experiment with different genres. So I think the increasing number of women has contributed to it, and I can see a number of them entering the force even more. So when you see the person in front of you, it doesn't really matter the gender. If the person is talented, you will take them on board. And in majority of the cases, what I am seeing is that a lot of women are increasing their footprint. Even where I teach at Jindal for the past 8 years, we have a journalism school. There also, again, the same thing is that a lot of young girls want to be journalists, and they are practicing all day, and they are all doing their voice modulation and other things. So it's not difficult nowadays to even have more of women in the newsroom or in the workplace, because they are more and more actively participating in it.
So you're outside in perspective. You've been out of the media on the other side, and now inside the media. Are there any first party evidences that you've really witnessed being the leader, a woman leader in a newsroom that has a lot of men? I mean, how has it been for you so far? Any learnings, any observations?
I think the learning has been a lot. It's been tough because a lot of people don't think, majority of the times I've seen a lot of people think she doesn't know. And I can see it on their faces that she's not a journalist, she's not come from this background, she doesn't know. But then they don't take into account that I have been working, I still work, so I juggle 2 jobs as well as a third job of being a mother. So it's not a problem, but the first perception is that I don't know. And I've stopped trying to even fight it now. That's one thing. And the other thing is, a lot of them think they think of me as that they are going to try to teach me something which I don't know. So that teaching habit hasn't gone. So I'm being schooled apparently, and I often smile at it because what else to do? But I can understand what problems a female journalist would face. Because me being the proprietor, I'm only being taught and schooled every day. So that is there. I think people take the liberty of thinking that you don't know, you don't understand, you're not abreast with it, you're clueless about what is happening. And that is there. So there are some men, on the other hand, who do think that you are an active participant in the scene, and they do take your pointers on board. There are some people who are very uncomfortable with it, but then I think of it, you have to deal with it. You can't. You'll have to deal with me being in the organization. So it's like that sort of a thing. If it was someone else in my place, it would not be those challenges that I would face. And it's a difficult space. It is hurtful at times. But I've learned to let go of it. And then I talk to other women in media also. They also have the similar journalists कि आपको हम बताते कैसे होता है. तो so काफ़ी लोग बता ही रहे होते हैं. And I'm pretty sure a lot of female journalists को वो बता ही रहे हैं. इतना वो reporting कर चुके हैं. But they will keep telling them, you know, हम आपको बताते हैं.
We have 2 minutes almost. Is there any? I can take one question.
How do people factor? When I started from media, I was not from the media industry.
Yeah.
Worked with Water Council, went to a business school, went to a but you bring a fresh perspective. You bring these are unbiased, clean, and you bring learning from being a professor. I think media needs that. Media needs an outside view. What is? I think the question I want to ask you is: are people open to a critique of what is happening and hence being able to transform or change, or you see a lot of resistance?
There's a lot of resistance because they say ये ऐसा ही होता है and you don't know and these are way things are done. So there is a certain kind of resistance. And the resistance also, I'm still trying to figure out, is the resistance got to do with the fact that I'm a woman saying it, or is it got to do with that they genuinely disagree with me? So that is the difference over it. But there is a need to accommodate. I think a lot of speakers before me have said there is a need to accommodate different viewpoints. And I view it, the journalistic perspective from you're doing a very important job, and it is about passing information to people. It has to be very well authenticated, well researched, and misinformation should be cut down. That's what I believe, that you need to really verify it first. And because there's a lot of misinformation, if you're going to join the bandwagon, ultimately the product suffers. And we've are operating different products. Sunday Guardian is really high degree of investigative journalism, and it comes on Sunday. So it is the story has a lot of density to it. NewsX also again has a lot of density to it. India News is about the stories which are, I've realized there's a greater trend towards hyper-local news and that. So we are catering to a different audience. We have to understand the audience. Now in digital media, you can't dictate to the audience what you will want to show them. They'll tell you what they want to see. So that's the difference.
All right, okay, I think we're the first panel to finish on time and just before time, but thank you so much. I know you have another meeting coming up.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on this first edition. Great pleasure having you.
Thank you, Anurag, and thank you, Exchange for Media, for the platform. Thank you.